I won a case before the European Court of Human Rights for £20. So this requires some background information. Like most Bulgarians, I had a grouch against the Bulgarian government. Your typical Bulgarian would hate its government. That's a given. And being ever since I became a lawyer, I was looking for a way to successfully sue the Bulgarian government. Now, to sue the Bulgarian government before Bulgarian court, yes, it's possible. Yes, I've done it, but it's not very satisfying. It is way more embarrassing for the Bulgarian government to be successfully sued in Strasbourg before the European Court of Human Rights. So I was looking for suitable cases. I was even trying to create suitable cases out of nothing, so that I will be given this opportunity. And by the way, this is why, unlike most Bulgarians, I didn't give bribes to traffic policemen. Now this again requires some background explanation. In Bulgaria, when you are caught by a traffic policeman doing some infraction, breaking the law, the traffic policeman would typically say a key phrase. We typically use a key a key code phrase. What are we going to do now? What are we? So he is the one who has to do whatever has to be done under the law, but he asks the driver, what are we going to do now? And the procedure is, this is an official procedure obviously, is that at this point the driver would offer him a bribe, and the traffic policeman would say thank you, see you later, bye, and that would be it. There will be no paperwork done. So everybody's happy. The driver is happy because he had avoided a penalty, and the policeman is happy because he earned some money. Okay. So when it came to this moment, what are we going to do now? Unlike the other drivers, I would say, whatever the law says, officer. And here there were two possible developments. One was that the officer would simply say, okay, I'll be good this time, I'll let you go, and just let me go without any paperwork, because they're lazy. And they're there not to do paperwork to penalize anybody. They're there to earn some money under the counter. This is the incentive of being on the road and catching drivers who violate the traffic code, the traffic code. Or the other option would be that he wants to teach me a lesson, and give me a ticket. By the way, I'm not sure whether this is the correct translation. Should it be called a ticket? The technical word is Administrative Act, Administrative Penalty Act. So that's a document. Legally, that's a document with which he accuses you of committing some administrative infraction. So the logic is similar to the logic in the penal law, only we are not talking about a crime, but about a lesser offense, an administrative offense, not a criminal offense. So this administrative act will say, typically, on date such and such, in place such and such, at this time, I caught driver such and such, say, run a red light or something. And this is exactly what I wanted. This was my goal. Yes, I didn't want to give them money because I didn't like them. I didn't like the whole system. It was revolting to me. Not because I was so honest, but simply because I found it revolting to live in a country where everything is arranged under the counter. I like official procedures. But the main reason I escalated to this was because this will give me the opportunity to appeal. There was an appeal procedure, and I, being a lawyer, was very familiar how it works. And usually they were ignorant, like cops everywhere in the world. By the way, this applies to American cops. If you don't believe me, watch these First Amendment videos. You will see how ignorant they are of the law. Cops all over the world don't know the law. So when they fill in documentation, it's a given. It's almost a given that they will make some mistake. It will be illegal. They will mess up some technicality, whatever. I mean, in my experience, you could appeal successfully if you know how to. If you could appeal successfully these documents issued by Bulgarian cops 100% of the time, because 100% was my success rate. So, but this is just the beginning. So you appeal it, and it's quashed. The trick is, here comes the interesting part that will lead you to Strasbourg. This alone doesn't get you anywhere near the European Court of Human Rights. You must incur some expenses. And the easiest way to incur expenses is to hire a lawyer. So obviously when I was the one who, I had a problem when I was the one penalized, because I could not hire myself. I could not possibly pay myself. And it's complicated to look for a colleague who would write that on paper he represented you just for that. So actually I was more interested in cases where I'm not the one who is penalized, who has been issued this ticket or whatever the name is, maybe penal ordinance would be the term, but some acquaintance of mine. And I had such an acquaintance. His name is Koce Kocev. You could find his case on the website of the European Court of Human Rights now, Kocev versus Bulgaria. It's published there. One of the four cases I've successfully won before the European Court of Human Rights. So he was issued such a penal ordinance for, I don't know, exceeding the speed limit or something. At least this was the accusation. Now, whether it was true or not didn't matter to me, because my role is not to pursue the truth as a lawyer. My role is to win the case. And I won the case because there were, again, the penal ordinance had glaring irregularities. It was not hard. And he incurred expenses paying me. Now, at the time he paid me, these cases were easy. He paid me some very low sum of money, 20 pounds. 20 pounds, almost a symbolic sum of money, not a big deal. And here is how the ball began rolling. So here's the situation. He had been wronged by the Bulgarian government. He had lost 20 pounds because the Bulgarian government, through its officials, have issued an illegal penal ordinance ticket. So now he wants the Bulgarian government to pay him back these 20 pounds. And of course the Bulgarian government, that's in practice some accountants in some godforsaken police precinct, and they never pay anything. They're used to be paid, not to pay. And he doesn't even have budget. He has no idea what to do. His boss hasn't told him what to do, or her boss usually, because most accountants were women actually. So what an official does when he or she doesn't know what to do? Well, obviously, the answer is obvious. He or she does nothing. Didn't pay. So because she didn't pay, whoever she was, this opened the door to Koce to sue the police department, which is what he did. And guess what? While suing, he had to pay me. So this added to the expenses. We won the case before the Sofia District Court. The police appealed against the court decision and lost on the second instance before the Sofia, I don't remember anymore, district court, whatever the translation would be. Doesn't matter. That was the end of the line. And at this point, they already owed Kotsay Kotsev a sum of money that, well, the purchasing power of the lev and the pound changed since then. But let's say £100. Still a small money, still a small sum of money. And at this point, Kotsay Kotsev was issued a document saying that he is owed £100 by the police service such and such, and he went there and asked for his £100, and they didn't pay. Because obviously they never pay. This is untypical. Nobody does that. See, this is the thing. So Bulgaria, in countries like Bulgaria, and this is something to remember when Britain imports a large number of immigrants, because they will bring this culture to Britain. So in countries like Bulgaria, which is most of the countries in the world, life doesn't follow the law. Life follows the unofficial customs, traditions, whatever is done usually, whatever is typical. And since what we were doing with Kotsay Kotsev was not typical, was anything but typical, officials on all levels didn't know what to do. And when they don't know what to do, they do nothing, which is, in this case, not paying, which is exactly what I was hoping for. Because in Bulgaria, under the Bulgarian law, you could not employ the, what was the word for these people in Britain who do that? The bailiffs. You cannot bring the bailiffs to the police precinct to start taking out stuff. There is no such procedure under the law. The end of you have exhausted the internal legal means just by asking the police to pay voluntarily. And the assumption apparently of the law is that because it's a state institution, it's a government institution, it will follow the law. But guess what? It didn't. Because many government institutions in Bulgaria just don't follow the law, because there are no consequences. And probably they thought that there will be no consequences in this case. But I filed an application form to the European Court of Human Rights. At the time, the waiting time, the queue, because there is a queue, a backlog of many applications, took about 7 years. So you have already wasted 1 year to quash the penal ordinance, another year in the lower court to ask for the £20, another year because the police appealed, and that's 3 years, and then 7 more years in front of Strasbourg, and then the procedure begins in Strasbourg and may take, say, a few more months. So roughly 11 years. 11 years, that's more than the Trojan War. Trojan? Okay. Not sure how to pronounce it. English is not my mother tongue, obviously. That's enough time for you to plant a tree, a fruit tree, and to get the first fruit. This is how long it takes. And most of this time, like I said, is taken by nothing but waiting. That's all. Anyway, so we won the case before Strasbourg because we had exhausted all internal legal means. There were no other venues under the Bulgarian law which made the case permissible. And they awarded Kotsay something like, I don't remember the sum anymore, let's say £1,000 plus expenses. Not a big sum of money, but it's not about the money, it's about the fact that you have won a case before the European Court of Human Rights, and this is incredibly rare. I mean, look up at the statistics for Britain, for example. There are maybe no more than 100 successful cases per 10 years or something. Basically, nobody succeeds. Now, this is not the impression you're left with when you read the papers. You, you're left with the impression that whoever uh, migrant or whoever sued the British government succeeded. No, actually, a tiny percentage succeed. I mean, I don't remember the percentage, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's less than 1% or something. It's very rare. And this is because these cases are very rare. This is why I nurtured them. I planted them. I was so careful about these because, and this brings me to what I started with, I really have a grudge against the Bulgarian government, and I really wanted to stick it to get even for all the things the government has done to me.